Welcome back from the commercial break. We continue with our topical discussion assessing the East Africa community, and we also look at the East Africa Legislative Assembly progress for economic integration and partner state citizen welfare. We appreciate the bloc of the East African community, and we continue to relate it whether its existence affects and impacts the well-being of citizens. Yeah, before we went for the commercial break, we were having a very serious critical point where we appreciated, yes, that what citizens want is to benefit from the East African community to improve their welfare. They are not much more concerned about who leads, whether there is a relationship between which president. But I stated this and I said we'll go back to it. Yeah. When elephants, it's a proverb. When elephants are fighting, it's the grass that suffers. In this case, we saw, and it is still happening, that the disagreement between the president, it is very clear on record, of Democratic Republic of Congo in handling security matters, between Congo and the Republic of Rwanda, still leaves scars, still leaves pain in the war-affected area of Eastern Congo. And also it's not that we take pleasure of hosting a crisis, especially of refugees who are, filling up in our country. The flooding in, the entrance, it is, the disturbance at the border between Kenya, Kisoro, Bunagana, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Of course, what happened, as I was sharing with you and to the viewers, bringing it to our analysis, we also know that we lost a lot when we crossed the border. Our concern in our talk show is not to lament and to regret, but it is to go to the insight of such a thing not to happen again. Jesus, I'm a Christian, he landed into a debate of where they wanted to kill a woman
who was a prostitute.
And Jesus forgave the prostitute.
Yes, who has never done it.
Yes, who has never done it, but finally said, you should never do it again. Okay. So what happened? It's our prayer with the support we are giving you as citizens. Such a thing should never happen again. What is your take?
As I told you, that any challenge written by Buffett Warren, that any challenge comes to your way, it's a lesson to learn from. 2, it tests your capability and the potential to deal with any, in case for future use, or for any environment which is hostile. I want to appreciate that really the president of Uganda, the way how he handled the case between Rwanda and Uganda was a mature leadership. Because nobody wants a war.
That's right.
Citizens don't need war.
We don't.
You can see how we are suffering. Ukraine is fighting and Russia. You see now what we are escalating to. Coming back to that point, that really the treaty was very clear, that really those conflicts must be dealt with
peaceful settlement of disputes.
Yes, sir. So the committee, I think, is not established. But I want to elaborate more. That because Museveni, our president, is the person who doesn't sleep when challenges come. He works when challenges are there. What this president told us, no. They are closing a market of 80 million people. But I can go an extra mile and convince Zaire, DRC, Congo. He went and made an agreement with Shikedi and said, please, my people are suffering. We are closing one market of 80 million people. But there is a market of almost 60 million people, which is Goma, Kasindi, all of that side up to the northern part of Uganda. I'm telling you, when the president came, he told us, I was in the 10th parliament, to open up a road from that place so that security can be provided to those people, citizens. And you know that part of Congo has been suffering for the last 40 years. When they agreed with Skedi, the security went in there. I'm telling you, companies in Imbarara like Pepsi Cola, like Nile Breweries.
Yes.
They had closed that factory in Mbarara. They opened up selling some products there.
Yes.
Chikubo shifted
For
from
business.
there, from business. Business people are shrewd. They shifted from Chikubo. They went to where? They went to Arua. All the mattresses, which are called Arua,
to link up with the business opportunities of the Democratic Republic
of the Republic of Congo.
Oh.
You can imagine somebody is closing 8 million, but there is a window for you to think that I can serve this 60 million people market. This is what the vision of the presidents who signed this treaty, saying, no, in case of any conflict, let's establish a committee that can resolve, because citizens, as you've said, they suffer more.
Yeah, they suffer more.
And you know, when God creates a challenge, He creates a challenge to know that, please, when an environment comes which is hostile, how do you come out of it? And you saw. The victor is Congo was convinced. It's opened up a market of 90 million people. You get it? Because of the 90 million people is added on this other market. So the other group which had crossed that place, it had to open. Because Tanzania was in problem, Burundi was in the same problem, even Zaire. So what I'm trying to say, that when you're in a partner state, you sign those protocols, there are some issues which you cannot avoid. And for the purpose of this objective of this treaty, it's not for readers.
It is for the people.
It's for the people. Business people are the people who create wealth. It's not government. Government provides a very good atmosphere which they can operate in. And if we don't create that good atmosphere, then business people can't go there. Like now what I'm telling you in the Federation, if it happens so, like I had the chairperson of the East African community, he said that breakup of that war, M23, we should have a standby force that can go and sort out those problems. As we talk now, the joint forces of the partner states, you hear they were in Jinja training. Them, they are interested to see peace in the partner states. So this is the joint force which is going to be standby, trained, have a common objective, and they prevail over that insecurity there. So these are the objectives of the partner states. So in that such a situation, it's a lesson to learn from. That really people what in God forbid, nobody wants it to happen again. Because the integration means marriage, the integration means free movement of people, the integration means I can move from here with an identity card and go to Tanzania. I see my relatives there. It's like in Uganda here where it used to happen. The vice president of Kenya was a Samia from the other side of Kenya. But the one who was running for presidential candidate, Owol, was from this side of Uganda. But they were brothers.
They're brothers.
Same brother, same father.
It is just the colonial boundaries.
It's the colonial boundaries.
That's
but all
clear.
of us, we are the same. And who told you that Rwanda, they are not our brothers?
No, they are. Even, they are part of us in our tribe here.
Who told you in Congo they are not our brothers?
We have those who went to Kabale, they migrated from Cameroon to Rwanda and
These
then here.
colonial boundaries they brought to us were to divide us, not to have unity. But since now an opportunity of readers currently, they are seeing that vision. We should sensitize the public that really what we are looking for is free movement of people, free East African airline, free train from here. People used to move from here up to Mombasa. You pay ticket here at the railway station. Those are the things, the revivals of the infrastructure, which the president now are looking at. So that really, people there was, in 60s, you had, they used to exchange students, Makerere University, Dar es Salaam University. All those are the things we are looking at. And those are the services which are provided in these partner states that we are looking at. Those are things which can be now. Those are the challenges that are affecting people.
There's a point of discussion I would like you to conclude on the matter of mutual trust.
The mutual trust.
And 1 second, sir. Yeah. 1 second. With Democratic Republic of Congo, the M23 saga has been here since almost the 15 or 20 years ago. And currently, what would have been a cooperation or the peaceful coexistence, at a certain point recently, 1 month ago, we saw demonstrations it was in Goma, where the Congolese were not satisfied that Uganda was to enable them to have peace by doing serious demonstration. And we also saw at the same time where the president of Congo, Democratic of Congo, was of a concern, saying this joint force, Rwanda being accused to be supporting M23. And as you said, where the relationship of the two, now we come in as the third party, then other countries come in, it remains unresolved. Through East Africa Legislative Assembly, have you had a platform to see how to streamline the cooperation to be realized by sorting out those differences?
What is important now, currently, if you have a joint force,
yes, sir,
there are legal framework, legal regimes within which are dealt with to sign that protocol. There are certain instruments you must agree with to come as a joint partner.
Yes, sir.
I can give you an example. When South Sudan had a problem with Ugandans, you remember Aregu Saga?
Yes.
They told South Sudan that, please, we cannot allow people to start suffering like this. When they were killing Ugandans and the Kenyans who were going there. What happened? Because South Sudan signed the protocol, they sent a joint force to allow people to move from Aregu up to Juba. I remember Kenya went there, the forces went there, Tanzania went there, Uganda went there, because they had agreed that the people within the partner states must have peace. So since now Congo is coming into play, those are the issues now the joint force is going to deal with. Because if you say to enter into marriage and you want to produce children, then when time comes to produce children, you cannot say turn around when you made an agreement that, for me, I married you for the sake of marrying you. No, you must abide by the rules.
So the joint force harmonization has been done. All countries
of course,
will join together.
Zaire was off because it was not yet. It has not.
And was against Rwanda not to bring in their forces because they are the ones who are affecting them. Yes.
So now they have entered into agreements with the partner states, which has rules.
Yes, sir.
And now Zaire, if it's on board, it enters, it signs the protocols. That's why they tell you, please, before you join us, there are certain rules and procedures you have to fulfill. The moment you fulfill, then you belong to us. It's like when you go to a school and it has its regulations and you take a student there. You must abide with those rules of the school. So we think that Zaire, that insecurity which has been there for quite a long time, they have joined the partner states. I think that problem will end that MO of 23, that insecurity in that region.
And the tribal militia.
It will end because the joint force will come in and say, please, you people, we are brothers and sisters. This is what we're supposed to do. These are the protocols and the force. Already the trainings have been going on. You saw recently in Jinja. They are training from Jinja, Chimaka. Rwanda were there, Kenya were there, Tanzania were there, Burundi were there, South Sudan were there. So these are the formal structures they are trying to put into place that can keep peace. Because the region, when it doesn't have peace, you get spillovers. And you get instability within the region. So that's why the presidents are clear saying, no, we must avail peace. And we must have a joint force to keep that peace. Not wait to call people from UN, from, I don't know, China, from Russia, to come and keep peace because we belong to each other, the same culture, the same sort of thinking. So they are trying to, this bloc is trying to galvanize what can destabilize the region as an impediment. So
Yes,
these
sir.
non-tariff barriers of insecurity and whatever, the trade gimmicks, where you said that you cannot move eggs from to Kenya, you cannot take sugar, milk. Those are challenges within the system, but they will be sorted out. They will be sorted out.
I appreciate you for your giving us hope, and we will continue to learn a lot in this block, in this development, you know, in this new global political and economic trend. We know in regard to East African community, there's been an attempt to have the East African Federation. It is still dealing with the realization of what were the main, you know, you refer to those as the main pillars. But over time, the East African Federation, now we count on 22 years, it seems to have delayed. We do recognize that we citizens, I want to be on the side of you're also a citizen, would have loved it to see the realization of the federation, of the East African Community Federation, which could sort out all these challenges faster. What has been the cause of this delay, and maybe the prospect of achieving it faster?
No, you know, when they were aligning those objectives within the treaty, they started with the fundamentals that can spring to the federation.
Yes, sir.
For instance, I can give an example. You had no system of business trading, of collection of taxes. So the East African Customs Union was to deal with first, because you are dealing with businesses of the common people within the partner states. You have to put up a legal regime. Now, when they started it in 2005, you can see in 2013, they signed a protocol of single customs territory, whereby single customs territory, all the stop borders is one now. So when you come from Kenya, Uganda, you want to enter to Uganda, the side of Kenya is here, and the side of Uganda, they are here. So when you come with your documents, you could have started on the other side of Kenya. But now they are at one-stop center, whereby when you are coming to Uganda, you come with a single document, and they stamp you, you go. But before it was not that. And if it's an objective of the common market, you have to deal with those problems now, who are challenges, that will spring over to the one federation you want. That's why when they were aligning them, they started with those priorities, that which are impediments within the integration. Two, they went to the common market trading to each other. They say, if we are putting tariff rates within the partner states with the intra-trade, we must move those barriers that prevents a businessman to go to Kenya and do business. That's why now they are saying, where have we reached? We have a common customs external tariff, which is one. So it needs a legal regime. It must be restructured to say that business people can do business freely without an impediment. Though there is that mutual trust you are talking about, but it will go because it's a necessary evil that people must interact and must trade business. Any foreign investor who comes in within the partner states, he needs all these partner states because he's looking for a market. And if he produces a product here and you want to export it to Tanzania or to Rwanda, we need to have a legal regime of one standard of products. And that's still a challenge. And that's why these are things now, when you are starting a system, they teach you. Because now what is happening, you can't sell your products to Tanzania. You can't sell your products to Kenya. But if there is a legal regime of one common standard harmonization, you will be free. And those are the things they are working upon so that you arrive at the federation of all partner states.
Thank you so much. I'm learning a lot from the Honorable together with you viewers, where I do moderate it this way. We start with the economic integration after satisfactorily achieving the main targets and removing a number of barriers. then it becomes easy to achieve the political federation. You mentioned a statement, and it remained coming in, the legal regime, and which I think has a lot to deal also with our politics. It happens to be, as we are making step by step, because you're giving us hope that we are moving forward, which is not bad. Maybe it is the normal statement that it's a steady progress, I don't know, which you normally say.
Yes.
But in this
steady process by process.
It's process, let's call it process by process. But in this process by process, there are realities which I would like you as our representative, because it happens to be you were elected under the ticket of NRM, but you are not for NRM, you are for Uganda.
No, when we go for representation,
yes,
in the Legislative Assembly, we are all East Africans.
You are all East Africans.
And no parties, no parties, yes. We are legislating for East African citizens.
Yes, please. Yes. That is very much appreciated. And yet, there is what we would like you to take into consideration. I'm a public policy analyst in these matters, and of which you are a senior legislator. We find the legal regime, especially the constitutional framework which is beyond the treaty, the comparison of our different country constitution also have a lot to be looked at. Maybe by establishing, to me, in my just independent opinion, a constitutional commission review, which can, in the process, emerge and know that we have the marriage, which compares a lot in common. And it will tend to, my understanding, and to the viewers as we analyze together, it will tend to build mutual trust and political will, because there are a number of key areas that matter in a constitution. The issue of human rights and also democracy, the tenure of service by different member states, and both by their presidents and their legislatures, and also looking at how the separation of institutions, because we are dealing with this area of good governance, independence of institutions rather, not separation of institutions, independence of institutions where we are talking about parliament, judiciary, and also the executive, of which is supposed to intermarry and look at at least it is being streamlined. We seem to be lacking that assertiveness to start that process, and which keeps on denying our political will and mutual trust.
And you see what is, I can understand, what is happening now currently is they are putting up the legal regimes that will be amalgamated to the same constitution. Already there is a commission, a constitution, it was. You see, when you look at that treaty, it has got 3 arms of government, of structures. We have judicature of the East African community, you have the Legislative Assembly, and you have the executive, which is headed by the National Council of Ministers and the presidents when they sit. So those are the pillars now they are basing on to know what can be done when we go for federation. Because if we go for federation, there are some fundamentals you must deal with before you go for federation.
That's right.
Like when you look at the European Union, all of those people stayed, we were having their own sovereignty. But there are some common things that are needed to facilitate trade, and are needed to have a common market, and they are needed for citizens.
And facilitate peace.
And facilitate peace.
Yes.
Those are the key priorities. Yes. When you look at free movement of people, now we've got one passport. You don't need a visa.
Yes, you don't need a visa.
You don't need a visa.
Now at the border of Rwanda, it's very okay.
It's very okay. You have the East African passport, they stamp for you. What is the difference? A passport, East African community passport, they put Uganda. They will know you come from Uganda, but they will not need anything. Now what is happening? They are trying to institutionalize the IDs. That when you come from here, now we don't need a passport. Because you are the same brother, the same father.
Because the IDs are cheaper. And currently, by the way, it's a challenge to get a passport.
Local citizens now. How can you tell a person from Mutukula to come to Kampala or somewhere in the institution to pick a passport and pay that? What is happening now? You pick your ID, you go to Tanzania.
It is being worked on.
Yes.
We'll appreciate it.
No, I'm telling you. It's there. Some people now move with IDs
the East African IDs?
No, each country has its own ID. It must be amalgamated within the system. That when you put your ID as a rider, they know that it's Kakoza James coming from Uganda. That's their ID.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So in case you get an accident from there, you are identified. Like passports are.
Okay.
Passport, they put East African Community passport, but from Uganda.
Yes, sir.
Like in European Union, you get a Schengen visa of France. It makes you to move all over the partner state at all borders you go. So these are the key areas that first deal with that will help that springboard of the federation you are talking about.
Yes, sir.
The trading of business people, they want one common currency. The structure, the treaty says by 2024, we could have got one currency, which they are working upon. You saw the infrastructure which was lacking, they were to a point where the headquarters of the bank will be, which is already, they are dealing with it as the third pillar within the treaty.
We are going for the commercial break, and you've talked about the common currency. We now deal with macroeconomics in the next session and look at the issue of the common currency, the banking sector, and the challenge of lacking a balance of trade in the community that continue to put us at a disadvantage, especially with our shilling competing with the Western currency. Stay tuned on Smart 24 TV. We are still going on well with our dear guest and his elaboration. You cannot miss it. See you after the commercial break.